an empire and don't know what to do with it? Do you long for the luxury of empires past? Well, if all that's glittering in gold is meant for you, then come join us. Over the course of a week, we will discover the origins of opulence without the stress of ruling. We will guide you through the luxurious lifestyle of the Habsburg monarchy. Our trip will begin in Vienna and continue north and then east towards the reaches of the Habsburg Empire in Bucharest, Romania. Lasting 7 days, the group will spend 3 days in Vienna, stop in Prague for a day and a half, and in Bucharest for 2 nights. You will live the Habsburg experience, visiting castles, eating like royals, and attending the opera. The origins of monarchical opulence lie in fashion, design, and architecture, but most of all, art collecting. Our trip will begin in Vienna, the known heart of the Habsburg Empire. We will arrive at Hotel Sascha in Vienna, where we will stay for 3 days. As our group will arrive in the morning, we will leave them to settle before departing for a carriage ride with fine mulled wine and Sascha torte cake, a traditional Austrian treat. The carriage ride will pass by the museum quarter to orient our guests with the contemporary options available. While the imperial influence tended to exert historically oriented design and architecture, buildings like the Mamuk and the Vienna Secession will remind our travelers of the dynamic context of Vienna's art history. The group will return and dress in their finest garb before departing to the opera. Although we will attend the opera for entertainment, it will also act as an initial exposure to Vienna's Ringstrasse architecture. A long-term project of Emperor Franz Joseph, the Ringstrasse became home to many historicist buildings in the second half of the 19th century. The opera, built in 1869 from August Sichard von Sickarsberg's plan, features the Renaissance-esque frescoes that celebrate Austrian superstar Mozart. The sumptuous interior, the word of Edward van der Nuyl, comes to its full glory as well. Dinner will be held at the Opernhaus before the show, with champagne and sweets at intermission. On day 2 of the trip, the group will begin the day at Café Prügel before departing to the first stop in the Hofburg complex, the Austrian National Library. After a stroll through the collections at the library, which originally grew out of a collection of art and other treasures of Friedrich II in 1440, the group will attend a private show at the Spanish Riding School. Both parts of the complex belong to the slew of works by Johann Fischer von Erlach and his son, Joseph, an eminent Baroque Viennese architect and favorite of the Habsburgs. After a riding show, the group will take a short stroll to the imperial treasury to see the royal jewels. Here, smaller pieces take our attention. From ceremonial pieces of Holy Roman emperors to Empress Sisi's personal belongings, this experience will impress upon our travelers the intense role that ornamentation and design played in royal life. The guides will highlight the recycling of styles for the sake of consistency and alignment with the dynasty. From illuminated manuscripts to crowns to baptismal gowns, opulence through objects acted as physical evidence of their reign of power. We will impress upon the group different stylistic features that arise in the collection as results of contracts with Spain and other faraway Habsburg lands, as well as marriages and alliances. After a long day out, we will return to the hotel to rest, drink a coffee, and refresh before dinner. We will be chauffeured to the restaurant Le Ciel. After our fine dining experience, the group will stroll to the Weihnachtsmarkt by Karlsplatz, where von Erlach's dome, Karlskirche, comes into view. On our third and last day in Vienna, the group will begin their day at the Hofburg in the repurposed Palmenhaus for traditional Austrian soft-boiled eggs and a coffee. After a satisfying meal, the group will venture forth to the Albertina. The Albertina provides a perfect example of a repurposed palace and royal collection. First built in a neoclassical style in 1744, the palace came into Habsburg ownership in 1796 when Duke Albert Sachsen became the proprietor. His heirs added on to the building, and it was further renovated after World War II. One of Maria Theresa's son-in-laws, he began to collect art and housing it in his new palace in 1805. With its restored staterooms, the Albertina provides a picture of an opulent interior life of the Habsburgs in its true neoclassical style. The group will enjoy the royal chambers as well as the permanent Batliner collection of modernist painting and contemporary exhibitions. The museum also exhibits its extensive collection of European prints and drawings, including Durer's hair. From the Albertina, the group will be met by their chauffeurs and driven to Schönbrunn Palace, where a private grand tour will be offered. Another work of Fischer von Erlach, Schönbrunn, is sprawling. Small snacks will be optional by the Folly Garden that Maria Theresa used to love to picnic by so much. Schönbrunn offers an experience of the homebody fantasies of the Rococo style. The gardens acted as an escape, and the castle, as grand as it is, acted as a family summer getaway from the inner district of the city. We will pass by the Imperial U-Bahn entrance at the Heatsing before eating at the 19th District Wine Garden for dinner. We will have an early night in as the next day is full of traveling.
The group will check out of the hotel and be driven to Klosterneuburg, where we will stop along our drive to Prague. Klosterneuburg is a monastic complex rebuilt by Charles VI to act as a refuge and reminder of the Austrian Habsburg excellence, as well as its fealty to the Catholic faith. The Habsburgs emphasized Baroque style in the rebuilding, and it features multiple domes. The styles reflect the opulent lifestyle of the Habsburg in many ways, despite being a monastery. The golden interior and domed frescoes reflect Habsburg royal influence on religious spheres, and works like the Verdun altar recall medieval religious splendor and workmanship from around the time the Habsburg reign began. Their influence brought a period of production in the monastic complex. The group may reflect upon the glittering and gold interior while understanding the productivity of politics in relation to religion. In Prague, we will stay at the Alchemist Prague Castle Suites for one day, where the group will experience the royal treatment in canopied red and golden king bed suites. After a rest and fine dinner at La Gustation Bohème Bourgeoise, the group will wake up and eat at Café Savoy before departing to Prague Castle. As a residence for the Habsburgs beginning in the 16th century, the castle's oldest parts date back to 880, and it acted as the seat of the first president of Czechoslovakia after the fall of the empire. In this way, it has seen the entire rise and fall of the Habsburgs, and its amalgamation of architecture reflects this. The old royal palace of medieval Czech kings embodies the Romanesque style, but the Habsburgs' additions are characteristically of Renaissance and Baroque styles. From Prague Castle, we will be chauffeured to Konopište, a later Habsburg post. With the first structures dating to the 13th century, the castle later became a palace and home to a succession of Czech families. However, in the late 19th century, Franz Ferdinand d'Este bought the palace and renovated it to highlight its medieval bones. Dinner will be held with a river view at Restaurant Bellevue. As longtime center of the Holy Roman Empire, Prague shows an alternative to Vienna's central stately opulence. Because of its more frequent Eastern influence, Prague's castles will also show how styles and architecture hybridized under the empire. The Habsburg Empire reached eastward into Transylvania. Our trip will travel through this region and land in Bucharest, a city that shows both unique character and clear Habsburg influence. Although the Habsburgs never quite ruled this city, their visits and cultural panache affected the city's architecture and manner of art exhibition.
Our stop in Bucharest will begin at Centru Vechia, the old town which was built by German kings and was known as Little Paris. We will be staying at Capșa Cofităria și Casă, which literally means patisserie and hotel, which was a historic building known for its as a literary hub for artists all over the world. It also asserted one's political rank or intellect if they were spotted at Capșa. After having a light coffee and pastry, we will then move to the National Museum of Art, which is located in the former Royal Winter Palace of Carol I and the entirety of Romania's kings. It is a combination of local architecture with a more continental European look, and it has 3 galleries, one with European art, medieval Romanian art, and modern Romanian art. It was designed by French architect Paul Gauthier in 1882 to be made, quote-unquote, more European-looking. The highlights of the museum include works by Bronzino, Tintoretto, Rembrandt, and El Greco. After spending a few hours at the museum, we're going to finish up with dinner at Caracubere, which is a Gothic-style building exterior and an Art Nouveau-style building on the interior. It's one of the oldest restaurants in Bucharest, and it is known for its variety of beers and evenings with Romanian folk dance groups. After dinner at Caracubere, the group will be then sent to spend the night at Hotel Capșa before departing for Peleș tomorrow morning. Peleș Castle is the former vacation castle commissioned by Carl I, the first king of Romania, in 1873. It took 10 years to build, and it was built in the Neo-Renaissance style by a German architect, Johann Schütz. It is located in the Carpathian Mountains, and some of the most beautiful mountains in Romania. It was the first European castle entirely lit by electrical current. It had a full heating system, an elevator, a sliding opening roof, and was made mostly of Carrara marble and wood found in the neighboring forests. It has 160 rooms, and it also has a movie theater which features decorations by Austrian artist Gustav Klimt and Franz von March. It was the first movie projection in Romania. Some of the rooms took on different styles. There was a room specifically known as the Imperial suite that was stayed in by Franz Josef. Guests will enjoy the theater, the frescoes of German hunting and Murano chandeliers, and concluding their stay will enjoy some traditional Romanian food such as papanaș and profiterol, with some traditional Romanian folk dancing in the receiving room of the castle.
This is a wintertime tour, and many locations will be cold. You are welcome to bring your own furs in true Habsburg style, but we may also provide them. Everything on the itinerary is included, as ease for our travelers holds the utmost importance. The secret to true opulence is detail, and this week-long tour aims to show our travelers the finest points of Habsburg patronage, building, and collecting. By beginning in Vienna and moving around the reaches of the former empire, the tour will also include the multicultural aspect of the Habsburgs' reign. Centuries of sometimes maniacal art collecting, combined with the comforts of contemporary travel, will make for an indulgent art lover's ultimate European experience. We hope that you join us on the Origins of Opulence.